Jose Napoles, Angel Mantequilla. He was a Cuban welterweight who stood 5'7.5". He had a 72-inch reach, and he was born April 13th, 1940, in San Diego de Cuba. He ended his boxing career with a record of 88 total bouts, 81 wins, 7 losses, and he was stopped twice in his career. Between August 2nd, 1958 and December 6, 1975, he'd take on fighters such as Hedgeman Lewis, Ernie Lopez, and Fake Davis, L.C. Morgan, and Carlos Rios, Tony Perez and Billy Backus, Manuel Gonzalez, and Amo Griffith. April 18, 1969, he became the WBA-WBC World Welterweight Champion, knocking out Dallas, Texas zone Curtis Coates in 13 rounds in Los Angeles, California. He would also fight fighters such as Humberto Trotman, Eddie Perkins, Adolph Put, and Carlos Hernandez, Charlie Watson, and Baby Vasquez. June 29, 1969, Jose Napoles would knock out Curtis Coates once again, 10 rounds in Mexico City, Mexico. He would retain his welterweight championship crown. But it was amazing when he took on Amo Griffith, October 12, 1969. He defeated him in Los Angeles, California in 15 rounds. Now, we talked about Curtis Coates. He's to your right. Jose Napoles is to your left. Who was Curtis Coates? Well, he was born June 15, 1937 in Dallas, Texas. He died May 29, 2020 in Dallas, Texas. I had the pleasure of meeting, by the way, not only Curtis Coates, but Jose Napoles as well. And Curtis Coates would fight from March 24, 1958 to October 5, 1972. And he would take on fighters such as Charlie Smith and Manuel Gonzalez, Joe Miceli and Rip Randall, Luis Rodriguez, Jose Staple, John Jocelyn, and Al Andrews, Stan Kitten Haywood out of Philadelphia. Ranked number 8, Curtis Coates would face ranked number 7, Kenny Lane, at the Texas Livestock Coliseum in front of over 2,000 spectators. And Coates weighed 141 pounds and Lane weighed 138 pounds. March 15, 1965, Curtis Coates would become the vacant USA Texas State Welterweight Champion when he stopped Marshall Wells in 12 rounds. April 23, 1965, Curtis Coates would become the Southern Welterweight Champion, defeating Fortunato Macapalazzatio. He fought him at the Dello Sports Roma, 12 rounds. It would be a decision. On July 6, 1966, Curtis Coates would score a 15-round knockout over Luis Rodriguez at the Municipal Auditorium. It was at New Orleans. It was a vacant elimination contest for the WBC Welterweight Championship strap. On August 24, 1966, Curtis Coates would become WBA Welterweight Champion, but he defeated Manuel Gonzalez, New Orleans, in 15 rounds. What was amazing about Jose Napoles? We start off April 18th, 1969, Inglewood, California. 13 rounds. Napoles would become WBA, WBC, World Welterweight Champion of the World. Now, June 29th of 1969, he would take on Curtis Coates once again, Mexico City, Mexico, and he would stop him in 10 rounds. It would be for the WBC and WBA Welterweight Championship strap. That was a very crowd-pleasing performance up until the stoppage. Curtis Coates was, when I met him, a gentleman. He taught me the tricks of the trade and conversation, as did Jose Napoles. But ironically, both men told me about the raw deals in boxing, what you had to look out for. With Curtis Coates, it was very rewarding because he spoke to me about the fashion and the times that the young men had during his day. It was a pleasure for me because I learned a lot about the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. The men who wanted to take on a nightcap, so to speak. And the fashion and the cars that they drove. As well as, of course, the opponents in the gymnasiums and arenas and venues. But Curtis Coates put a spin on the conversation. He told me about Jose Napoles. He told me about Sean Jocelyn and Luis Rodriguez. When he became the welterweight champion of the world. The tournament that he participated in. It was very interesting to me. It was for the vacant elimination contest on July 6, 1966. It was against Luis Rodriguez. Luis Rodriguez would also take on Jose Napoles. And he told me that Luis Rodriguez was a handful. October 12th, 1969, Jose Napoles would take on Emil Griffith in Inglewood, California. It was 15 rounds. It was for the WBC and WBA welterweight championship strap. And that was a conversation I had with Emil Griffith about the Jose Napoles contest. He told me, yeah, Jose Napoles was a good fighter, a very good fighter. And I take the word of Emil Griffith. Because on February 14th, 1970, Jose Napoles would defend his WBC, WBA welterweight championship strap once again in Inglewood, California, with a technical knockout in 15 rounds. Now, Ernie Lopez was the brother. Indian Red Lopez. Lopez would take on Salvador Sanchez, his brother. But Ernie Lopez was as tough as they came. But December 3rd, 1970, Jose Napoles would take on Billy Backus in his hometown, Syracuse, New York. He would lose to him in 4 rounds. He would lose his WBC and WBA welterweight championship strap. But they would fight once again. June 4th, 1971. This time, Napoles would score a technical knockout in 8 rounds against Billy Backus and earn back his WBC and WBA welterweight championship strap. This would be after he would somewhat have a tune-up, if you will, with Manuel Gonzalez, March 27th of that same year. He fought Gonzalez in Mexico City, Mexico, knocked him out in 6 rounds, and that was shocking, to say the least. Because Manuel Gonzalez, as Curtis Coates would tell me, was a handful. December 14th, 1971. Jose Napoles would take on Hedgeman Lewis, Inglewood, California, 15 rounds. It was for the WBC and WBA welterweight championship strap. And when I spoke with Hedgeman Lewis, he was a cornerman for Lennox Lewis and many others. He told me about that fight. He said he wasn't quite prepared. He said it was something in the water. He just couldn't get it together. Out of Prout, June 10th, 1972. Well, that fight took place in Mexico as well. And that was a 2nd round technical knockout. 1973. Jose Napoles had 3 title defenses that year, winning all of them with Ernie Lopez and Roger Minatri, as well as Clyde Gray. 1974. He took on Carlos Monzon, and he would lose in 7 rounds for the Paris, France, WBC middleweight championship strap. The WBA was on the line as well. Once again, he would take on Hedgeman Lewis. It was in defense of his WBC, WBA welterweight championship strap. August 3rd of 74. Mexico City, Mexico. And he would defeat him once again. In 1975, he fought Armando Munez. Very crafty Mexican fighter. It was in defense of his WBA, WBC welterweight championship strap. But he was scored 12-round. Technical win. Fought him again July 12th of 75. Mexico City, Mexico once again. This time, the WBC strap was on the line. And he would defeat him in 15 rounds. And his last fight, December 6, 1975, came against John Stracey. And it was in defense of his WBC welterweight championship strap. He fought him in Mexico City, Mexico. And he would lose to him in 6 rounds. That would be about it for Jose Napoles. Brilliant fighter he was. And for that reason, I must place him my 10 greatest black welterweights of all times. Thanks for watching. I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff City. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Who else is next? We'll see. 2 more positions left. They fought each other, and I think you have a good idea who they may be. I would love to get Marlon Starling on that list. The Moochie Man, Magic Man. But unfortunately, he didn't make the cut. He didn't quite have enough fights, but it wasn't so much of that. He was one of our top 5 greatest defensive fighters. He was in the ring with Donald Curry twice. Yes, he knocked out Mark Breland in South Carolina. He knocked out Mark Breland, and that would be Mark Breland's first loss in his entire boxing career. Yes, Mark Breland lost once to Darrell Anthony in the amateurs. And he would regain that victory over in Totowa, New Jersey. But for sake of professional argument, that was Mark Breland's first loss. And he was knocked out by Marlon Starling. But Marlon Starling, I can't place him above the men that I mentioned. But I could make him number 11, 12, or 13. But look out for my next 2 greatest black welterweights of all times, in my opinion. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace. Now, you hear me mention Luis Rodriguez as I'm speaking of Curtis Cokes and Jose Napoles. Luis Rodriguez is to your left, and he was a very, very good fighter. I just wanted to show you Luis Rodriguez. All right, thanks for watching. Peace.